Hi everybody, this is Jonathan and Angela Scott, the Big Cat People, talking to you yet again from home here in Nairobi, Kenya. Still locked down since March 2020, but this is going to be a fantastic year. And we're incredibly excited because we are going to be launching a Kickstarter campaign, 2nd of February through to the 28th of February for our latest book, Sacred Nature, Reconnecting People to Our Planet. Published by HPH, probably in August this year, but you're going to be ahead of the game with that Kickstarter campaign. Please, please, please support us. Now, we're not just excited about that and our Sacred Nature initiative, which is twinned with the book, but also because we've created a different kind of book. It's an e-book in partnership with SanDisk Western Digital, who we are extremely proud to be part of their extreme team. And so an e-book. Well, because we've wanted to keep in your mind the idea of sacred nature, of thinking, being inspired by nature, think of it with a sense of awe. We've called the ebook Sacred Nature, A Photographer's Guide by Jonathan and Angela Scott. And I've got here my little crib sheet because that ebook, gosh, I tell you, you're going to really enjoy this. It's got 10 of our most iconic images with explanations as to what we were thinking, what we were doing. You know that we're Canon shooters. What images were we taking with what cameras and what lenses, and what was the situation? What made that situation special? So there's top tips, or rather 10 top iconic images. And then we've got an interview session in writing on the text of, how did Angie and I come to be wildlife photographers? What's our passion? What does it take to step up to being a photographer? And then 10 top tips, but we made it 15. You could have made it 20. And so amongst those top tips is something that we so often talk about. And this would be the most important step in going from clicking, reacting to what you see around you, to participating, to becoming a photographer, because it's all about seeing, but it's also actually using your imagination to create images in your mind, in your head, cued by what you see around you and your own imagination, and then actioned, then put into practice with all of the kit, the cameras, the lenses, your knowledge of the environment. And so let's give you some examples. Well, we've talked before about the perfect tree, just standing out in the open in somewhere like the Maasai Mara in Kenya, where we do so much of our work with big cats. And you've spotted a beautiful fallen dead tree pushed over by elephants years ago. And you know the kind of situation that offers. Sometimes the marsh pride are there, scrambling around in the tree with their cubs. And it might not be a dead tree, it might be a live tree. But it's knowing the location where things might happen. And then that same tree, you might have seen a leopard there, or you might have thought to yourself, knowing that there are leopards in the surrounding area, that one day that tree will be a safe haven for the leopard to get away from lions, or to look across the plains and into the Musiara marsh thinking there's prey out there, watching a mother waterbuck, coming back to where she's left her calf to feed it, and the leopard's watching her nose. It's using that information in the same way that we use, and this is vital, you've got to understand your subject, whether it's animals or people, whether it's wildlife or travel photography. You've got to go onto the internet and do your research, be in the right place at the right time, and know what might happen next. So back to the dead tree. So you've thought to yourself, okay, early morning, beautiful light, but no leopard, no lions, no baboon, no lilac-breasted roller, using it as a perch to hawk insects. Then, middle of the day, you come back past on your way back to camp. The light's not so great, but just remember this. I read this just the other day, and it's such a good thought. It's so true. There's no such thing as bad light. There's just light. And harsh light at times can be just what you might want in terms of lots of contrast, wide-angle lens, polarizer, and you could turn that tree into a little bit of magic. But you're still waiting for the extra element to bring it alive. So what about that tree? So now you've got the tree, you've got the idea. What kind of camera? Will I use a wide-angle lens? Will I position myself over here for the light in the early morning? Will I get closer with the wide angle lens, just get all of the detail of the tree? Or would I prefer to be back a little bit with a big lens to compress, to foreshorten the sense of space between, you're hoping, the leopard when it's on that tree, and sort of put most of everything else out of focus to concentrate on the leopard and one part of the tree? And again, you see the whole tree, but do you need the whole tree for your composition? Maybe not. It's like when you see a beautiful fig tree and you think to yourself, oh, got to capture it. And initially you have all the tree in your photograph. And then just try this. Start with all of the tree and the landscape and the sky behind, and then start cropping in. And as you get tighter, you just get the branches, just skeletal, sculptural, becoming stronger and stronger in your image. You don't need all the tree. It's like photographing lions. What's happening? If a lion's yawning, do you need to show its whole body? No. Get into where the shot is. Back to the tree. So one day, maybe the marsh lions are up on the tree, playing around with their cubs, as I mentioned, or maybe they're up another tree. But being prepared turns luck into great photographs. Knowing your kit, knowing where it is, having it turned on, having multiple bodies with different lenses on. You might say, well, it's okay for you. You've got your own car. You know, you've got Canon supporting you. But one tip as I think about that, multiple lenses and cameras, zoom lenses. Today, the quality of the zoom lenses is awesome. We use the Canon 200 to 400 with a built-in extender. Now, they've produced a series 2 of their magical 100 to 400 millimeter zoom. Focuses down to less than a meter. And bingo, they've now got an RF lens for their mirrorless cameras, which goes from 100 to 500 millimeters. Absolutely incredible. Can't wait. Or Angie's already saying, when we get one, I'm having it. Along with the R5, that mirrorless camera, or the R6. So, we've got the tree, you might have the lions, you could have the leopard, but what about the lilac-breasted roller? This glorious bird. Everybody notices it when they come on the safari. Lilac-breasted roller. Named exactly because it's so colorful. And roller because it does these incredible aerial maneuvers as part of its breeding display. And it is an ace hunter. Perches on a stump and then hawks insects. You know, could be grasshoppers, might be mole crickets that make all that noise at night, might be little lizards, beetles. Anyway, it hunts from a perch, goes down with this flash of colors as it spreads its wings, goes down, picks up the insect, comes back to the same perch, if it's in a good place for hunting. Now, you're thinking to yourself, you see, you're going to create the shot. You've seen the opportunity, you've seen the tree, you've done your homework, you know the behavior of the birds going, hunting, coming back, and on the day it's there, right? Now what are you going to do? How do you photograph a bird who flies at that kind of speed? Are you going to use AI servo to track it? You're definitely going to use high-speed drive, 12 to 14 frames with the 1D Mark II, 1DX Mark II or Mark III, 12 to 14 frames in RAW. You want every frame you can get. So high-speed drive, definitely. But what about the focusing? And this is where the partnership comes in. Angie and myself working together. I'm going to drive her into position. She's going to set up the lens. Could be the 200 to 400. It may be that magical 100 to 500. The RF lens we're about to get. Or it might be her 600. But whatever it is, she's going to frame up the shot. And she's going to focus around the perch that the bird keeps coming back to. 12 to 14 frames a second. And then she's got me to tell her as the bird flies away. The key is when it flies back. And it'll spread those wings and you'll see that wonderful lilac breast. As it perches onto the tree, you've already focused on that spot, either manually or with autofocus. And then I count her in. So the bird's off the perch, out of the frame, on the ground, I'm watching it, and I'm counting 5, 4, 3, 2. Angie's already got her finger down on the motor drive. She's got her focus preset, and suddenly there's the bird, glorious. Oh my goodness, do you want those 12 or 14 frames a second? So there's the shot. but it illustrates just one of the 15 tips. It's going to take us a long time to get through this, but just one of them. Stepping up into becoming a photographer, participating. Yes, there are shots, photographs everywhere, but that's why we like to say, rather than capturing or shooting, making an image, participating. So as you're driving around on your game drive, either yourself or being driven by somebody else, don't stop and think, well, you know what, I can sunbathe, I can relax, I'll stand out of the roof hatch and get some sun, get some rays. While somebody else finds what I want to photograph. No, keep your eyes open, keep looking, because it's not a question of, but there's nothing here today in the marsh or on that tree or whatever it is. It's thinking about the day that will come when there is, and being ready to take advantage of it. It's going to be in that ebook, SanDisk Western Digital. Can't wait to see it. We put a lot of time and effort into it. You are going to love it. And remember, 2nd of February, Kickstarter campaign, Sacred Nature 2, reconnecting. That's the key. People to our planet. Okay, all the best from us. More very shortly. Take care.